Hello everyone, this is Brenda and welcome to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque painting live on Wednesday instead of Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Time instead of our 7 p.m. Central Time as well. Tomorrow we have a snowstorm coming. Actually, I think it's supposed to start at midnight tonight with ice, rain, and snow and winds and minus 30-degree wind chill factor going into the weekend on Friday. So we actually decided instead of me driving tomorrow that we were doing our live early today at 5. We're not doing it at 7 because Michael Harbridge also goes live at 7 p.m. on Wednesday nights. And you can watch his show on Facebook right after ours. Well, actually probably be an hour in between, right?
Yeah, like half hour to an hour.
So he'll be on after we are. He's on at 7 p.m. Central Time tonight, and I believe he's going over different glazing, layered coloring techniques, so you definitely might want to check him out. And that's Michael Harbridge right on Facebook at live at 7 tonight. So if you guys are done with me, you can just spend the whole night chilling out. Courtney's going to add the link. He has really great information too, and we didn't want to go live at 7 to interfere with that. So we're going live tonight at 5 due to the weather tomorrow. And then tomorrow at 7 we will have a watch party like we did with our last snowstorm, ice storm about a month ago. So hopefully you guys are finding us tonight. We're going to just talk a little bit so everybody can kind of find us and get on, and maybe we'll have some new people because it's a different day and time. But we are going early because we do have a snow and ice storm headed our way starting midnight tonight through tomorrow, and then winds and really cold temperatures for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that's kind of why we're going live tonight. We don't want to actually cancel for the week, but we're just going early, and we'll have a watch party tomorrow night, and then Courtney and I will be both following along, and you can still ask questions, and we will answer in the comments. We'll be live watching along, so you can still answer questions tomorrow night or tonight. So I actually see a couple new names already tonight, so welcome you guys.
I'm going to put his page because I can't see the event.
So Courtney's going to put Michael's Harbridge's page. It's Michael Harbridge. And he goes live at 7 tonight, so that's why we didn't do our usual 7. Courtney can't even find our live. Courtney's tired tonight, you guys. Courtney went to Beloit, Wisconsin today, which is 3 hours one way with our friend Mary, and they picked up our molds.
Mary found some hitchhikers.
Mary found some hitchhikers, greenware or molds? Greenware. So she's had a long day because it's 3 hours down there, and then you get your stuff and you have lunch somewheres, and then you come back, so it's another 3 hours. It makes for a long day. So Courtney's kind of tired today, you guys, so we'll hang with her and get through this. And we're doing it early because of the snowstorm again, but we are working on our January box, which is our welcome rock, which can be hung or put on an easel in the garden or by your front door or by your fireplace. The inserts are interchangeable. The box came with the cardinal insert and the eagle insert, and we were working on our cardinal insert already. We have our rock done already, and we also started on our eagle insert last week. So I can put that aside, and then I do have a couple things we can show you till everybody finds us here tonight. This is your February box that some of you have been invoiced for already, but Courtney was gone all day today, and then she had an appointment also this week, so we're a little behind on invoicing, but they will be coming, so don't worry about that. We are also waiting for a special size box to come for these two pieces because they special ordered box that's coming on Friday because they're bigger than our normal pieces. And so we want to give them more room and more bubble wrap so we don't have any breakage. And then she has to see anyone that has extra items ordered, like inserts or the welcome rock, if they're actually going to fit in the box with these, because we want to make sure they have enough padding so they don't get broke because they are kind of shallow. But I did pour them a little bit heavier, so hopefully they're okay.
You poured them extra heavy.
Then the other thing is the hummingbird one. I've been having problems with it cracking, so instead of glazing the inside, We're actually going to seal them with a Thompson's water sealer for clay, tile, and concrete, so they will not be glazed on the inside, but they will be sealed with a tile sealer, and they will still be fine for outside. But I didn't want anyone to experience cracking because I had a couple crack, and I'm not sure what the issue is with that, but rather than have problems where they will not be glazed on the inside, they will be sealed with the Thompson's water sealer for tile, which is ceramic, so I've used that before and it works fine. But otherwise, if you have your invoice, you can still add to it if you want to. This is our February box that we'll be shipping. Again, we're waiting for our special order boxes to get here Friday, but with the weather tomorrow, they may be delayed too, but otherwise we'll be, they should for sure get out on Monday, Tuesday at the latest, depending on our weather here that we have. But this is your hummingbird stone, and it could also be hung, and then our welcome with the butterfly, and a stone that also could be hung or put in the garden. I would not recommend walking on them. They're more decorative. And then of course, always with your ceramics, bring them in for the winters, anytime you're in a freeze-thaw zone. And we will be going over these step by step on our Thursday lives with the painting. So don't be intimidated by them, because we'll do it step by step, and although there's a lot of colors, it's actually quite easy, and we'll definitely get through it. And you can always send me a picture, and I can coach you along, whatever your problem may be. We just had a lady do that with her eagle, I think yesterday, and we helped her. So then Courtney did get the molds for our March and April boxes, and our March box will be the 2 bunnies that I'm showing you right now. Hopefully you can see them. And then along with these 2 bunnies, we got the additional 3rd bunny with the flower, so he could also be added to your box. Those should fit in our regular box that we use. Where we picked up the molds, I ordered the greenware so we could actually get these ahead of time and show you what they're going to look like. So hopefully next week, Thursday, I'll have them painted and fired for you guys to see. So Linda says we're blurring in and out. Am I moving pictures too fast maybe? It looks pretty good on mine.
We do have a storm coming though.
And we do have a storm coming, so that hopefully that's not it, but hopefully I'll move the pieces a little slower, and hopefully that helps. So these 2 are your March box, the guy with the birdhouse and the guy with the sprinkling can. So they look kind of Eastery, but they're kind of springy. And then if you want, you could add this 3rd guy to your box as well. But that is our March box, and hopefully I can have them painted for you by next week. We did pick up the molds today, and they're wet, but I did order the greenware from Marcella's in Beloit, and we have the greenware so we could get a little head start on them. The Clay Magic order was behind, so it took a little while to get them. So it looks like everybody else is doing okay, and I can actually show you a picture of them painted on the Clay Magic flyer if Party can reach that for me. So this is our 3 bunnies. These are the 2 that you'll be getting in the March box, and then the 3rd one you can add. And Courtney will have that price for you. I'm not sure what it is right now. I'm thinking we're going to paint them very similar to the colors. I kind of like that lime burst, so hopefully you guys like that lime burst in the green too. If not, you'll have to make some comments and let us know before I paint them. So this is your March box, the cute little bunnies, Nan and Nathan.
I think you should do like different.
Courtney thinks we should do them different.
The same, but maybe one not be blue.
Oh, one not blue, she says.
Do like pink.
So Nan is kind of a girl's name. Maybe we'll have to make her more girly.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, more pinkish.
Oh, more pink, a little more pink.
Or orange or something. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys let us know what colors you want to see these bunnies in. Give us some comments. The one with the birdhouse is Nan, so I would say she's a girl. The guy with the watering can is Nathan, so he's a boy. Let us know what colors you want to see those in for next week, because that is your Mark's box, so let us know. Looks like you guys are liking it. We're getting some thumbs up, so that's great, but let us know what kind of colors you want. So I'm thinking maybe some fuchsia on Nan, get her pinked up a little bit. So okay, there we go with that. So I hope everyone's on. Courtney brought another flyer back from Marcella's with some of the new pieces that they have. I think we have the worm, he's from before.
You might get the
The
snails.
turtle might be, and the frog might be from before. I think Arapine, the welcome gnome, is new, and I think the sticky and icky might be new. I'm not sure. And then on the back, we have some other ones that they have. We have the Sweetheart Gnomes, which she brought that back today, and I have that in the car. We have the big Loki the Sloth. And then we have, let's see, the Gangbuster. We got the Gangbuster, the little sloths, because the kids kind of like the little guys, so we got the little sloths as well.
I think we should maybe get him yet.
Cordy thinks we should get this guy yet, so let us know what you guys think. I kind of like this one here, too.
Know. Yeah, he grew on me.
Yeah, he's kind of growing on us, too. And I kind of like the birthday insert for the truck as well. So let us know what you guys think, too, and we can, we'll have to do another order for our April molds, because we just got one set of those, so we can get the samples done. So that's kind of that. So we probably have everyone on, hopefully, that we are waiting for, and you guys found us. So let's take a look at our little pieces here, and we can get started for the night, so I can get on the road before, snow's not supposed to start till midnight, so that's good. So these are our two inserts that came with your box, the Eagle and the Cardinals. We did have other inserts you could add. They were six for 20.
Yep.
And you could still add them, although I'm not sure that they're going to fit in the box with the stones.
I could probably get a couple.
Cordy thinks she can get a couple in, but possibly not all 6 of them. You could do the second box for $9.99. We'd still be able to offer that. Or you could wait until next month too and add extra bisque to your box, because those 3 pieces it's easier to get little pieces in, but the stepping stones were quite big, so they're taking up a lot of space, and we want to make sure they don't get broke. So let's go and start with our pieces, and then we didn't really have any fall inserts, so when we order slip, we'll be ordering some fall inserts too. So if there's something you guys are looking for, you'll have to let us know on that too. So we are with our Eagle and our Cardinals. We did our Cardinals last week. We did our background on our white, and we did our brown on our branches. So let's see, we got the rust on their beaks and their feet. So we did the black. We painted the browns, the back black, brown, and now we're going to do some medium green brown and just kind of highlight that a little bit. So let me grab our medium brown, which is OS471. So I hope everyone found us now. Kim's got it starting around 7 tonight already. Yep, and then really cold. Yep, that's what we got too coming. So that's what I'm not looking forward to. Although it's been a really mild winter, so if we just have 3 or 4 days of cold weather, I can kind of tolerate it. But I'm not a winter person. I could go in the basement and not look outside till May, and I'd be happy to not see the snow and the wind. So we got medium brown, OS471, and we'll just need a little bit, because we're just going to highlight our branches a little bit. We actually painted them out last week. It's just easier than trying to dry brush them, because they're so fine. So let's get us a little brush. So I have a boar bristle brush. It's a size 3. If you have a size 1, that would probably work too. And actually, that's what I'm going to grab. I have a size 0, so I'm going to go at my size 0. It's just a nice little brush. Touch the edge of my brush into my brown, and then brush it out on my paper towel. So I kind of do an X and then another one, and I can see that there's not much coming out on the paper towel, and then I know I'm good. And now I'm just going to lightly go across my little branches, and because it's elevated a little bit, I can just highlight the center of each of those branches, and that's just going to give them more shape. So we'll just do that really quick. And I do like to show working on the piece through its entirety, so that someone doesn't think, oh, this should have only took me a couple of minutes and I'd be done. I do want you to see how long it really does take, and not like jump to a finished piece with all the highlights already done on it, because we do have a lot of beginners that watch. I'm just brushing really lightly across that, any of my little brown branches. And we'll come up and do the top. So I'm just dragging across them. I don't want to go with them. I want to go across them. Going with them, I wouldn't get much paint on them. So we're going to go across each little branch. And it's just a real light touch. If you're a strong, firm scrubber with your brush, you're probably holding down in the ferrule area. If you want more of a lighter touch, move your fingers up the brush handle a little bit further, and that'll help give you a lighter touch. So we're just going to brush across each little branch nice and lightly. And now we'll come back and do our main branch that they're sitting on. And it doesn't take much paint at all, because we're just highlighting it a little bit. And that just makes your branch have more depth to it and more shape to it. Kind of brings your piece to life more. So I'm just going back and giving him another little layer. Okay, so we got that done. So our next number is paint the berries, rust, and then real red. So we're going to go with our Doc Holliday Rust DH28, or you can use your Duncan Rust if you have that. And we just need a little pile. Instead of dry brushing them, I actually painted them. And to do that, I'm just going to use a little liner. And I have a size, let me see here. It's my 495. I think it's a 5.0. It's kind of worn off. It's just a nice little liner with a point on it. And now I'll start at the top, because if I start at the bottom and go up, I'll have my fingers in the rust. So if I start at the top and come down, the rust will be above my hands. So we're just going to paint out our berries with rust, because then we're going to put the red on, and I always like to go with rust underneath my reds. So some of the berries have like little lumps on them, and that's your snow, so you probably won't want to do that part of it. So on like this one here, the snow kind of starts on the side there, so we'll just only do part of the berry. This one, the whole berry is showing. Over here we kind of got a lump of snow on the top again, so we'll just kind of go up to that with the other berries. And then when we put our snow and glitter, we'll put it on that white part where the snow is kind of piled up on the berries. We'll just paint these guys out real quick. And again, I'm just using the rust and using a 5.0 liner. If you wanted, you could dry brush them too. It just goes a little bit easier and not so messy by actually painting them out instead of dry brushing them. So here we kind of got our snow again. It's kind of what it's going to look like here tomorrow. I think I've heard we're getting like 5 to 9 inches, but then I heard 8 to 12, so who knows what we're really going to get. Although I'd rather have snow than ice, so if we have to have it. So if you guys got any questions about your boxes, post them in our little comments here tonight, and we can answer them. Courtney's watching those while I paint, and she goes, "Oh, we got a question," so then I answer it. So ask away.
You told me during the watch party tomorrow night.
Oh, and then we'll do a watch party tomorrow night at our normal time of 7 Central Time. And then just like we did a couple weeks ago when we had the snowstorm, and then Courtney will be live watching it at her house, and I'll be watching it at my house, but we'll be able to answer your comments tomorrow night too if you're watching and not watching tonight. So we'll be there in the comments with you guys. And that actually worked really well last time because I could answer more questions. Because I wasn't painting, I was actually reading the comments more. It gets kind of hard to read the comments while you're painting.
They go by really fast.
But
The comments go by.
oh,
really
Courtney
fast.
says the comments go by really fast. So, I mean, she's watching and she tries to tell me, but so these guys here got snow on them, so we'll just do a little bit of red or rust and then the red. And let's see, we'll come over to this side. And these guys got snow on them too, so we'll just give a little bit of the rust here and there. So let's see, what else? We got the Finn gnome today. What else was on there? We got a couple extra ones. Oh, the some gnomes, the welcome gnome. And then, oh, the little girl gnome, I don't know what her name is, but she'll go kind of with the box, one of the boxes.
Oh, they have faces.
They're the gnomes with the faces. Boris and Morty and then the little girl. Oh, we got the pile of poop, or poo I should say. The kids have been coming to the shop and really having a good time, so we wanted to make sure we got a few new molds for them. Let's see, I've been pouring some Easter things to get cleaned, and hopefully Courtney can get those. I can get them to Courtney and she can get them posted so you guys can add any Easter bisque to your boxes. I've been pouring bunnies the last couple days, and I'll switch over to the Easter eggs because I know we got a bunch of different Easter egg molds from Rose last fall. Yep, we did. And I know Michael Harbridge tonight is doing it's like an Easter tree and the eggs with the wax resist, and I've done that before, so that's a really cool technique if you have access to a kiln. So you might want to check that out. I've done that with Christmas ornaments and Easter eggs. It's really a pretty simple forgiving method. So if you can watch, you're looking for something new to do with your Easter eggs, it'll be a good idea to watch him tonight. It'd be something easy for the kids to do if you got kids coming around. So we have that rust done on our berries. So now we're going to go to our real red. So I have our Duncan OS 483 real red. So we just need a little bit of that. I'm just going to use my same liner. And now I'm going to rest my hand on my cardinal so I don't get in the rust where it might be wet yet. And I'm just going to go over my rust with the real red to get us some nice bright berries. And painting just makes it easier so you don't have to clean up the background so much with the dry brushing and getting the red all over unless you have really, really tiny brush. And then our rust just helps our red be more vibrant and gives us better coverage than going right with the red on the white. Kind of cuts how much it has to cover. Some people use gray as well. That's another good color to use under the red. I just always like the rust. It's kind of like you're halfway to red by using the rust. So these guys are starting to look pretty good here. Let's see, it was an interesting week. My slip mixer motor, which is less than a year old, decided not to work last week.
After the kilns decided.
Like Courtney says, that was after the kilns decided to work, so I got the kilns working, got the slip mixer motor working, got a backup motor as well for that. Have a backup kiln, additional backup kiln I should say. And let's see what else.
Kind of off screen a little bit.
Huh?
Kind of off screen
I'm off screen. Which way do I need to go? Further up?
Yeah. You're fine now.
Let's see, then one night the darn shower, well Saturday morning the shower, it's a bathtub with the shower and you pull that little knob down on the bathtub and that thing wouldn't pull down so that it would switch to the shower, so I couldn't take a shower.
Well, that's rough. I didn't know that happened.
Yeah, that was Saturday morning. So I just washed my hair sitting on my knees on the floor.
Well, that's rough.
It really was. Washed up in the sink and then I went to, well, we had open paint
Oh.
Saturday, so then I went to the hardware store after and they didn't have the part. So then I took some muriatic acid and put that in the sink and got that little faucet, I had that faucet piece off that you pull down and makes the water come out of the shower head, and it soaked in there for a few minutes and it got some of that those minerals that get on there, and that must have been what was wrong. You couldn't pull it down, and I got it back on and fixed and I could take a shower. So it's kind of been a long week again.
Our drain broke and it was only a year old too.
Oh, well, that one's 28 years old, so I really can't complain about it.
No, like our drain legit broke
Yeah.
and it's only a year old.
Cordy says their drain broke and it's only a year old, so I guess I can't
Yeah,
complain. Mine's
they
28.
fall off.
Mine's 28 years old, but I don't know anything about taking bathtubs and faucets apart. So
I'd be in the backyard with the garden hose.
got the big old pliers out and went at it. So had to fix a few things this week, and I'm about fixed out. So hopefully that's the end of that. Okay, so we had our bright red on our little berries and they look really good. So we'll wash out our brush. And now we're going to make a little watercolor highlight. So I'm going to take my curry, my OS 571, give it a little shake. And I'm just going to put a drop on my foil here. And I do use the foil because I like to just wad it up and throw it away and I don't have to scrape paint off a palette. So now I'm actually going to take and dip my brush, my same little liner brush, in the water and add a drop of water to my curry and then pull it off to the side and get another little drop. And I make my own watercolor where you can basically see through the color that you're using. So I'm going to use this curry to highlight one side of the berries. So now you can see that it's real transparent. You can see the foil through it, where over here it's more solid. And now I'm just going to touch the left side of each berry. And that's going to give me a nice little highlight with the curry. And if you need a little more, so it's not quite enough, I'm going to bring a little more over. Just strengthen it just a little bit. But I don't want it real bright. I just want it to look like maybe the sun is shining. And I'm just doing it on the left side of each berry. Just a little highlighted brush stroke with the curry. And then if you want it a little bit stronger than your first stroke, you can go back and add another layer. It'll build up in strength. Just get a little curry on each berry, like the sun is shining on it in the cold. And it's really light. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but it's really a light highlight to it. It's kind of transparent yellow on it. Okay, so we got that done. So our next thing is, I'm going to look it over. So he's basically done. Now I would go back and touch up a little bit with any white, and we're going to do that quick. So I just have my OS 431, and I'm just going to take a little brush. Probably I have a size 3 here or a size 1, so I have a little bit of brown on my blue, and I want it just a little bit lighter, so I'm just gonna, and I have a little bit of red on my white here. So if you want to touch anything up, you can come back. I'm gonna touch up my snow on my berries here a little bit. So you can come back and touch up anything you want touched up at this point. Make it whiter. So here's a berry I missed. So we'll go back and add some rust onto that guy. Although it looks like maybe I thought he had snow on him, but we'll get a little bit of red in there too. So we'll let that dry while we go back to our white. Just get a little bit whiter because it's pretty blue and I like it a little bit whiter. Or you can touch up anything that's colors where you don't want them. If you got colors on the branches, or add a little bit more to my snow that's on my berries. And on the branch here where I got some brown on it.
Comments aren't working.
Your comments aren't working? Courtney says her comments aren't working. Huh?
Are yours?
Let's see, are mine working? Let's give it a little... Yep, our last one says you have the curry, and then it says hello ladies from Connie, so hi Connie. Let's see. It's about not a whole lot of them. Looks like we got Mary, Paula, Kathleen, Chrissy, Connie. Kind of a little group, but that's okay because you guys can watch it. Anyone that didn't catch tonight can catch it tomorrow night. We will do the watch party with it and be in the comments. What? Cordy says hit the thumbs up or the like button if you can see what's going on. She's thinking that her comments aren't working. She don't know if it's the new Facebook or if it's just not working. She said there was updates, and every time there's updates there's challenges. So I'm just touching up my snow anywhere as I might have got a little brown on it or a little red. So that looks pretty good. You could do a little bit more if you wanted it even whiter. My first one is whiter, but I think I'm gonna let this one a little bit bluer. So you can see they can all be different always. So at this point, this could be sealed. So and I would use I used a satin sealer. Actually, I used matte, it says. So let me see. Yeah, I guess it is matte. Usually with the snow, I'll go with the satin sealer, but I did use the matte. Probably because we used the snow on it. So let's see, we had a package here that was in our box. Can we round that up? That and the palette knife, because that was in there too, right? So Courtney's going to round up our snow and it was the glittering snow, right?
I don't know what you did with it. Send it to the wayside, lady.
Well, I don't know. Hold on, we're looking for our glittering snow. Found it? Should be here. So I have a little four-wheel cart that all our goodies are in.
Oh, it's over here.
Oh, it's over there? No, you got the bag open.
Okay.
So in your box was number 7, the No Fire glittering snow. And it's just in a little container. So after you seal it and it's dry, just use a little bit of this to put on your berries or your branches. So in your box you also had a palette knife as your little extra tool this month. And you can use that for putting on your No Fire snow. And I just get a little bit of it and it's just kind of like buttering your bread or whatever. And you're just going to kind of lay the snow on with the palette knife wherever you want it.
Everybody like their palette knife?
Did you guys like the palette knife in the box? Anybody been using it? Kind of like it better than the brush. You can kind of do a little bit more with it. It's also great for mixing paint instead of using your paintbrush bristles. So we're just going to put our glittered snow on here. And it's basically just on the berries, like on the tops of them. You can see it works really well. It's on the branch here. You can put as much or as little as you want. So I basically just put it on all the little berries, kind of on the tops of them. And then that'll take like about an hour for that to dry, so try not to get your fingers into it. we'll just kind of spread it on here.
That's what Branda's gonna fire, so.
It's Duncan, right? So Cordy says we have a question what brand of no fire snow is. So this is Duncan's no fire glittering snow. And we do carry that too.
You don't have it in your cart.
We just ordered a big order yesterday, so we should have just about anything that you're.
I restocked this one.
She's got everything to restock, so as soon as it gets here, that stuff will all be ready to go in the boxes too. If anybody wants to add stuff and get that free shipping, but it's probably going to be limited on what she can fit in the boxes this time, just because the
Next month we'll be back to normal.
stones take up so much space, and we want to make sure we have them packed really well. So that's kind of how I did the stones. I actually did put some on the big branch here just to kind of give it a little more cuteness, so you can put it wherever you want. And just use your little palette knife to lay it on there. And then there is glitter in there, so you actually don't even need to glitter it. But if you want more glitter, you can add more glitter too. So I think we'll bring a little bit down this stem here. Kind of like that snow is just really building up like it's going to tomorrow.
I'm not going outside.
Cordy says she's not going outside tomorrow. So, let's see, get a little on top of there. That's a little much. And a little on top of that guy because he's only half red. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Probably a little more over here because I can see my blue underneath my white there. Because it kind of builds up right where the branches are. Alrighty, then you want to make sure you do wash your palette knife off. So now this guy is done, and we would just set him aside and let him dry. And then you do have extra snow in there, so as long as it doesn't dry out, you can use it for another project. So I'm just going to wipe this guy off. Otherwise it will dry really hard on there. You want to make sure you do wipe your palette knife off or wash it off. And now we can go back to our eagle. And we have our eagle dry brushed. So where are we at now? We got our beak done. Also, now we're going to paint rust on our stripes. So you have our DH28 rust again from Doc Holliday. And I started with the white. So we'll start with the white. And I just painted this part of him out. I have my 5-0 liner. So we're just going to paint out our rust, go down into the crevice where the rust, where the stripe meets our blue background, and then come along where it meets our outside band, and then brush that out. So this is painting out. We're just painting it out. Just we're not dry brushing it. We're not color washing it. We're just painting out our stripes, and that makes them nice and vibrant. You can see they're nice and vibrant. You could have color washed the whole thing like in black and then dry brushed them if you wanted also. But I just wanted to show you don't have to dry brush. You can paint a piece out as well. So we did some dry brushing on him, but we also are doing some painting. So you can also mix techniques. You don't have to do just one technique on a piece. So actually I did that wrong because I had white first and now we have red first, but it really don't matter. He says I'm low again. So you can make the first one red or white. So we have the sample is white, and now we got this one red, so you can see it doesn't matter. You can't really wreck it unless you drop it and break it, then that's another story. So there's really no right or wrong unless you like really drop and break something. Everything's pretty much flexible, and so we got red, white, we got red.
Did you tell them what to do if they messed up and need to?
So Cordy asks if I should tell you guys what to do if you do mess up. So it kind of depends where you're at in the thing. If it's like you're really disappointed with it, just paint the whole thing black and start over. or if it's just one area, say the God Bless America part is not good, base coat your, like I did my, the ribbon in silver, just paint it silver and then start over with your writing. Don't get frustrated with it and upset, just take a deep breath and just start over. And you can probably do that a couple times as long as the paint isn't like building up really thick and it's really rough and built up. Then, I mean, you could have it fired off if you know someone with a kiln and then start completely over. The bisque would probably have a little bit of a stain to it from the paint, but it'll basically be clean and you can paint over it. So we're just going to line out all our red areas with our rust because that just helps our red cover a lot better. If you don't have rust, you can use gray too. It just helps cut down that white glare that's there and then helps that red cover better. So now we have white and then we got red. So basically the rest of this piece is painted out. It's not dry brushed. We're just going to paint him out. How are we doing on time?
5:40.
5:40. And then we'll be able to finish this guy up next week, and then your boxes will be on their way. And then the following week we will start with our stepping stones. And they're actually base coated charcoal to begin with. I did do black, I actually did charcoal, but if you did black already, if you're doing it, that's fine. I think I had someone ask and I thought I did black, but I didn't have the instructions at the time. So either black or charcoal is fine. I did start with charcoal just because it was a little bit lighter with all the pretty colors. I didn't want the real dark black. But black will work too. Or if you want more of a brown stone, I did more of a gray stone, you can do more of a black brown base coat, both of them. But we'll do them from beginning to end so you can see the whole process, that it does take time and it doesn't go fast. So now we have to go onto our other side and make sure we match up our colors with our stripes. So we have our white there. We need to come with our rust where the next red stripe would be. And I'm just butting up to the black on the eagle's head, letting a little bit of that show and not going right up to the white because that black is our kind of our shading between our red and our bird and his head. So if anyone already got snow, I hope, because it's coming from somewhere, so somebody must have snow already. Hopefully you're doing well and surviving the cold wind and temps that are coming with it. And I guess I'm pulling my piece close to me because Courtney's climbing behind the table here to move the camera. Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
It's a little far away, yeah. So you guys can always post questions on the comments. We try to get to them as quick as we can, although the busier we've gotten, the little bit slower we've been, but we do go back and try to get everybody's questions, although we are a little bit behind here this last week, or I should really say 2 weeks. It's kind of been a rough year starting out with the kilns down and kind of one thing after another. Thought we were out of the COVID stuff, but seems like the other stuff just followed along. We thought we were out of 2020, but 2021's kind of on its own little roll here. Hopefully the kilns are through their cycle of needing fixing and all that good stuff. Although we've had a mild winter, so I can't really complain. So I'm just going back where my rust is. Any place I can see white, where it's not a nice solid coverage, I want to cover that, because if it's not covered really well and you still see white through your rust, your red is not going to cover very well either in those areas. So you want to make sure you have a nice solid coverage of your rust. And it just takes another quick little coat So you can, I'll try to bring it up. You can see there's white. You can kind of see the white through the rust in a few spots. So I just want to go back and put a second coat on that, so then when I do my red, I won't have that light spots showing through my red and it won't look blotchy. So take that extra time and make sure you have a nice solid coat of your rust or gray, whatever it is you're using. There's always more than one way to do something, so don't feel like this is the only way you have to do it. This is just the way I did my samples for our boxes that we ship, so that's why they're done like this. They're also based on people that don't have access to shops and kilns, so that's why we do mostly to almost all non-fired techniques. So all, you're right. We try to add in like the glaze on the inside of pieces, like we did the mushroom last year. But stepping stones and platters can be a bit of a challenge, and this one kind of gave me a little bit of a challenge. The butterfly, the hummingbird one. Although the welcome stone was a challenge as well, because it wanted to collapse in the mold either when right after it was poured or later. So I actually cut foam and put the foam inside the piece in the wet piece of greenware in the mold, so it couldn't fall down. It's just the way the mold is designed, and it took about 8 pours to get that figured out to the right amount of turning this and flipping that and putting the foam in there and taking it out before it got too dry and cracked. And so the last 2 boxes have been a little bit of a challenge, but we're trying to bring you guys different pieces and as big as pieces as we could. Cordy says I pushed the limit on both of them. We had to order special boxes even for the stepping stones. They probably could have went in the priority box, but we don't want to take a chance of them getting to you guys broke, and then you're all upset and unhappy, and then we have to send you new ones and file a claim. So it's just better for us to get a little bit bigger box, and hopefully we avoid that. Stepping stones are a challenge though to pour along with platters, I've found. So if anyone's got tips on that, you can message me that too. I'd be glad to hear about them. So we're gonna just get our rust on here nice, and it don't have to be perfect on the edge, because like our gold is or silver will cover that up.
You could share some of the stuff that was shared with you. Or like giving stuff space in the kiln.
So I mean, a couple of things were shared with me. I have reached out to Sherry and Mike, and also read online. So some of the things you can do is for platters and stepping stones is make sure they have enough room between the pieces. Make sure they're stilted. Although one I'm trying today is they're actually being fired on edge. A couple different people do it that way, so I'm actually trying that way. Let's see what else. I mean, I know not to open the kiln. I let them cool themselves completely, so you don't have cracking and crazing with the glaze. But that's not the problem. The piece itself was cracking, because I do let them cool off until they're completely cool, and don't crack the kiln before they're cool. And that's a big thing, is you don't want to be cracking your kiln open too soon.
What you doing, Mom?
Huh?
Here.
What?
Are you doing all the strips?
Oh my goodness. See, now you got me talking, Courtney, and I...
I'm like, what are you
Sorry
doing?
guys, that shouldn't have been red. That red is supposed to go on the... That's what happens when you're trying to talk and...
Barbara caught it too.
Sorry guys. Yeah, I'm doing the wrong stripes because I'm talking too much. So the rust goes on the red, not on the white. That's what happens when you run your mouth and you ain't paying too much attention or something. So we're going to put the rust on the red. Now that's going to take some extra white to cover that up, but that's okay. That's what happens when you're talking. I'm usually not a talker when I'm painting. And then I'm thinking, because I'm trying to tell you things about the kiln. Like yesterday, Courtney had a little kiln education.
I did learn.
Learned how to load the kiln a little bit. Learned how to put the cone in the cone sitter and what the cones are all about, and the fact that they are numbered, that there's low fire and there's high fire, and she learned how to turn the button on so that it runs. Afterwards, she actually said she wished we'd have recorded it because it was a nice little, like, 15-minute crash course in how to fire the kiln, because she was going to maybe do that today, but then she actually ended up going and getting our molds so we can get them dry for the box.
Just for somebody that has no knowledge.
Because Cardi does all our computer work and shipping and stuff, but she actually doesn't. She's not the she's not the clay ceramic person. That's me. But she kind of does have to learn it in case I would get sick or something, so we have backup that she could maybe fire the kiln if she needs to fire the kiln, or
Getting busier.
she cleaned a few pieces this week even. I don't know about painting things, if we'll ever get her to do that, but she'll find her way out of that if she can. But she did clean a few pieces this week. She learned how to turn the kiln on. She learned about the cones.
The cones were interesting.
She said the cones were interesting, so maybe we can do a video about that one day. It's kind of hard just to explain without probably a little bit of eye things to look at, some visual things to show you guys. Because she didn't really understand that the cones are different temperatures, and then they melt at different temperatures or bend at different temperatures, and that's what shuts your kiln off. So that was a good little quick lesson. Let's see, what else have you done there that you haven't poured yet?
Nope.
Nope, she says. But she has been cleaning, and I don't know about painting, but she kind of got Connie to paint the back of that stepping stone.
Thank you, Connie.
And she says, thank you, Connie. So, but even if she learns a few other things, the cleaning and whatnot, she can kind of recognize molds, what shapes of some things might be, or when you open a mold, to see what something is, usually in a mold, you have to open it and look at it, and it's really the negative of the piece that you're making. So you kind of have to have a visual imagination to imagine what that piece is going to look like when it comes out.
I was surprised by next month's molds. They're really slim and slender.
Yeah. So it's hard to sometimes imagine what the pieces would look like, and I know when we first went mold hunting, she would open it and say, well, I don't know what this is. You know, she'd have no idea, but now she's her brain kind of thinks in that negative zone that the molds are in, because it's like the opposite of the piece that it's creating. So you kind of have to look beyond.
And it's all white.
And it's all white, so it's it is kind of hard. But once you catch on, you can kind of think, oh yeah, that's a rabbit. Oh yeah, that's a basket.
Or like the clay magic welcomes are really big.
And like certain molds are certain shapes. Like clay magic welcomes are a certain size and certain shape usually. Christmas trees are a certain shape and size. Frogs usually are. I tend to gravitate towards odd shaped molds because you never know what those are going to be when you open them. But it's fun going mold shopping or hunting because you don't know until you open those molds usually what they are. You can say egg impression or whatever, you might have an idea of what it is, but it's kind of like a treasure hunt. Well, it's addicting. Let's put it that way.
They have a group for you.
Yeah, Cordy says they have a group for me. Yeah, they probably got more than one. So now we're going to go back with our red and touch up our red, so we want it nice and thorough coverage, and we're not seeing our white or the rust through it.
And so she has a glass kiln to fire glass in.
Oh, so Kiln says she has a glass kiln to fire glass in. Yep.
Is that like just like these or different?
So glass kilns are a little different than our kilns, but we can fire glass in our kilns. Some of the glass kilns are smaller. A lot of them have a element in the lid of them for more temperature control, I guess you could say. But our old kilns, we could fire them in too if we had a pyrometer that would go through the peephole, a little wire and then a little gauge. The more digital newer kilns, like the one we just purchased, we can fire glass in that because you can program. It's a little more, it's more temperamental than the clay. It has to have annealing and hold times, and you don't want to fire it fast and you don't want to cool it off fast.
She said she has a top element.
Yep, they usually, the glass specific ones usually have the element in the lid, yep, for better.
And you just use that for glass fusing then, or what?
You can use for glass fusing or glass draping.
What's that?
Courtney asked what draping is. You would have a mold, like it could be stainless steel actually a lot of times it's bisque piece with air holes in it, and you would lay your straight piece of glass on it, and then when the kiln reaches a certain temperature, the glass melts. It doesn't melt, it softens and like drapes down over your form, so you can make like fluted bowls and things. Kind of like you do with the bottles in the bottle tray to flatten them, kind of that same.
How do you get them flat?
So Cordy asked, how do you get those bottles flat? It has to reach a certain temperature in the kiln.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's cone 017, but don't quote me on that. I'd have to look to be sure.
Hers a 15/6.
So that's probably the number of our kiln. So we have our red painted in, and I'm guessing we're close to our hour and a half, are we? Or
Yeah, you're at 6 o'clock.
we're at 6, okay. So the next thing would be to paint. I would probably go to the blue, and we can do that. So I believe I used navy. Cardinal insert, let's see, paint navy on the blue area. So I used navy OS 460 navy. And the reason I didn't go right to my white is because I have white in my stars. So if I do my navy first, then I can do my white stripes and my white stars. So we'll do the navy. And again, I'm just going to use my 5-0 liner. And I'm just going to line it out. And I actually painted right over the stars, so I didn't line them out twice. I'll just line them out with the white when I do the white. Kind of try to save detail work and time. So I'm just go right to my edge here where my gold is going to go, and you could put silver there if you wanted silver instead of gold, or you could put black, whatever you want to do. It's just all really forgiving, and you just do what you like so you're happy and enjoying what you're doing. So we'll just keep getting our blue. Another thing I do when I'm painting is I like to draw the brush towards me. That's just seems like it flows better that way rather than pulling it away from you. And everyone's going to have their own way of doing things, so someone might tell you to do it this way and someone else might tell you to do it that way. Just try whatever different ways there are, and do what works the best for you. So I'm just going to brush that out so I don't have any lumps. So again, I'm going to just start and drag it towards me. I'm resting my painting hand on my piece so it's nice and steady. So we did add extra hours. I think it's next Friday already. We'll be open at the classroom on Friday the 12th.
Mm-hmm.
From 1 to 4 we have a sign up time, or else from 5 to 8.
Sign up unless they want to do carry out.
If you want to sign up, you can probably message us on here, or if you're at the shop you can sign up on the bulletin board on the shop. But we just wanted to see if anyone wanted extra hours, so we're trying Friday.
For Valentine's.
Kind of a Valentine's Day thing. Courtney will probably decorate. I think she's got some decorations and have some treats, and just kind of a little extra day. And
We may have eaten all the treats
Courtney thinks we already ate all the treats. Well, come on. So we're just gonna.
We'll have to get more.
Yeah, you'll have to get more then.
We might even get some, might show up in a box.
Maybe some cookies or something. Valentine cookies.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I didn't think of that.
Valentine treats.
Okay. We can
Okay.
do that.
Well, we have that cake we could have.
We do. We'll
Maybe
do
we'll
that.
have the cake on Friday.
Yeah. We'll tell
So we had
Friday.
gotten a birthday cake, but then our birthday person didn't come, so we have a birthday cake in the
Freezer.
freezer. But maybe we'll have that next Friday for our Valentine's treat.
Gonna take it out on Tuesday then.
So we're just having extra hours if you're locally and you want to come and paint for the day. I'm trying to get more bisque cleaned and fired because I know we've kind of went through quite a bit here the last 2 weeks. So you could switch to a bigger brush now when you have just the main area left in the middle, but since that's all I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to stay with my little brush. And then we will finish this guy up next week. Hopefully we don't have a snowstorm again.
I think it's just this weekend and then it looked clean.
Courtney thinks it looks clean after this weekend, but
Cold.
cold, yeah, that's the only thing. But we've had a really good winter, I can't really complain. Probably need to get the de-icer plugged in the pond so it doesn't freeze completely.
Is it open?
There's an aerator that keeps it open. When it gets like 30 below, it kind of needs the de-icer to keep a hole open.
You want to plug that in then?
Huh?
You're gonna want to plug that in then.
I'm gonna want to plug it in, yeah. So we're just brushing out our navy and getting a nice solid coverage. I think it's a couple days of that cold weather
Yeah,
too.
it's like 3 or 4 days of it.
So
Where it's like 30 below.
yeah.
20 below.
So we're just gonna get a nice coat of our navy so we're not seeing through it. And then that's probably where we're gonna cut off tonight. So hopefully it was okay with you guys doing the early so we didn't have to skip tomorrow night completely, but we will be on at 7 Central with the watch party, and Courtney and I will both be in the comments so you can watch it again, and if you have questions that you think of between now and then, you can post them and I'll actually have time to answer them better instead of painting white stripes red. Courtney's laughing. She can laugh. That's okay.
I watched you do it.
You watched me do it. You didn't say don't do it.
It didn't seem right.
Alrighty, so this is our white stripes, and we'll do that next week, and then we'll do our silver on here, our gold in our God Bless America, and our gold around the outside, and then we'll paint some eyes, and then let's see, where did our
stepping stones.
our snow guy, he's probably pretty much dry over here. He's looking good, so he just needs to be sealed. I don't like to seal in Courtney's house and stink it up, so they have to smell that all night. Put these guys aside. This is your February box that's going to be on its way shortly. If you don't have the invoice, don't worry, Courtney will take care of you today, or not today, tomorrow. She's had a long day going traveling to get the molds. But some of you may not have an invoice yet because we are waiting for that box we ordered for these to make sure they don't get broke. But this is your February box. It's the welcome butterfly and the not the welcome, there's no welcome on the hummingbirds, and our hummingbirds. They are bigger pieces than what we've done in the past, so they are taking a special box because we don't want them to get broke. If you do have tracking and insurance on your boxes, you just let us know if something does break, and then Courtney has you send pictures and files the claims. But we've only had that happen. Actually, we had three times with January with that rock too, because that's another kind of a hollow flat piece, and those hollow flat pieces can be touchy. We'll actually be.
Normally don't have any breakage.
Yeah, so we haven't really had maybe only 1 or 2 breakages in the last year and a half, but January we did have 3, so we do want to make sure these guys are in a bigger box with more shipping. So those boxes will be here Friday. She'll get invoicing done tomorrow, But if you're asking for extra in your boxes, you may not get that invoice until she can actually pack it and see what will fit in the box. It's not going to be much because these guys are going to take up quite a bit of space and they're quite heavy. So that is kind of your box that's coming. If you still want a box, you can let us know.
Paula is enjoying the beach.
Yep. Courtney says Paula's enjoying the beach. Not much snow yet, Paula. It's supposed to start at midnight. And I heard 4 to 9 inches, and I heard 8 to 12 inches, so I guess we're going to see. I'd rather have the 8 to 12, because if we get 4 to 9, we're going to be getting ice, and I'd rather not have ice. But these are our February box, so hope you guys are going to enjoy them. They're going to be a lot of fun. Don't worry about painting them. We'll go through them step by step. There's a lot of colors, but we'll do it step by step. They're not actually hard. They just take a little bit of time because of the amount of colors, but they're not difficult, so don't worry about that. And Courtney will go through the messages probably tomorrow and get caught up with everyone that's got messages.
I'm going straight to bed.
But not today, it'll be tomorrow. So hope you guys have a great week. Everyone stay safe with the weather that we got coming, and I'm gonna head home so I can beat it. But we'll be on tomorrow night with our watch party.
Mike's on at 7.
And again, Mike Harbridge is on at 7 on Facebook Live, and that's Michael Harbridge. And he's doing some underglaze and glaze layering, so you might want to check that out. I know I'm going to try to. I always watch him every week. He has lots of tips, shares lots of tips and information. So he does lots of fired stuff and clay stuff, and it's all really unique stuff. So
If you want to show, you can take a class in person.
check him out too. If we ever get back to shows, I know he's at shows and gives demonstrations at classes at shows, and it also has a retreat coming this spring, so you could check that out too. And that's Michael Harbridge. So we thank Mike for helping us with the stepping stones suggestions that he had, and that's about it, you guys. So have a great week, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night on the watch party. Bye.